It is week 12 of the NFL. It is make or break for a lot of teams now. Teams trying to get into the playoffs, outside looking in, inside potentially looking out as well. Interesting weeks to come. But before we get started, just a little bit of a recap. Last week went 3 for 3 of my picks. The week before that, I went 3 for 3 as well. So I've been on a run a little bit. I'm 11 for 7 on the season, so I'm in the green. As far as I have been doing this, which I think I started in week 6. So hoping to keep that up this week. One thing to note though is actually I did not like the lines this week. These were either blowout games. There's a lot of like 13-14 spread games, which is a little bit crazy and hard to predict. There's some closer games that are with some unpredictable teams, but let's get started with my stay away games. So this one, I just have one here. I was going to put another game on here, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But a stay away game is the Steelers at plus 2.5 at the Bears. This one, just because of the variability on the Steelers side, Aaron Rodgers with his, I think, fractured wrist. It's not his throwing hand, so it might be like a non issue. At the best case scenario for the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. Worst case scenario, it agitates him, maybe causes some fumbles or causes a little bit of mistiming with the handoffs, and just that little beat that he is off or a tick that he is off can make or break certain plays, certain runs, etc. So a little bit of variability there. The Bears have been on a run lately. They've been winning some close games. The Steelers, however, very good on their pass rush, very good D-line. The Bears had trouble with the Vikings D-line. And contrary to last week, the Bears are actually not playing J.J. McCarthy. They're playing a great quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. Now, is Aaron Rodgers going to air it out? I doubt it, especially with that fractured wrist. But at the same time, the kind of ground and pound short pass style of the Steelers is a little bit hard to predict on this game. So this is why this one is a stay away game for me. Now getting into my actual picks, choosing 3 games as I always do each week. My first pick for week 11 in the NFL is going to be Colts at or plus 3.5 at the Chiefs. Now, this was originally a stay away game that I put there just because Chiefs, they have their back against the wall. They really need kind of this win to increase morale of the team, really kind of saying like, and showing everyone that yes, we still have it and we're going to make this run to make the playoffs. If they lose against the Colts, that does not bode well for the Chiefs' playoff chances. Now, the reason I moved this from a stay away game to an actual pick was just because I didn't like the lines this week. And this was one where I looked at the spread, 3.5 more than a field goal with the Colts that have an electric offense, the best running back this season in Jonathan Taylor, great O-line. Defense needs a little bit of work, but overall pretty solid. So this is going to be a tough matchup, I think, for the Chiefs, especially if they want to come away with the W here. I know the Chiefs are at home. The weather can be a factor here, but the main question for the Chiefs this game is, can you stop Jonathan Taylor and force the Colts to throw with Daniel Jones in that colder weather, maybe a little bit windy as well? And I don't know. I don't think so. At least not to affect that the Chiefs will be able to win by more than 3 points. Even if the Chiefs win, I do not think they'll be able to cover the spread here, so that's why I went with Colts and 3.5. What the Colts are able to do here is they can run play action. That will cause a little bit of trouble on the defense. Do you stop Jonathan Taylor, try to stop that? Or you can get some quick chip throws on the outside. They're also 8th in air yards per attempt, so if you're not able to rush down or pressure Daniel Jones, he is going to make you pay with some longer throws, some deeper throws in the air. I know it's a little bit windy and that can kind of prohibit that or help on the Chiefs side on that, but the Chiefs do not have a great pass rush, and in order to beat the Colts, you need to get Daniel Jones pressured, because if you can't stop Jonathan Taylor, that's going to cause issues. If you can't pressure Daniel Jones, he could sit back there all day and just throw and sling that ball around. Now, that being said, it is a bit of a risk here because the Chiefs do have their back against the wall, Andy Reid, Mahomes, offense, defense, everyone will be fired up to get their season back on track and in the playoffs. So this one's a little bit tricky, but I'm, I guess, comfortable enough to choose the Colts and 3.5 for this game. Now, my second pick for this week, NFL Week 12, it's the Browns plus 3.5 at the Raiders. Now, let me preface this by saying this pick is not because of Shedeur Sanders. It is a little bit, but it's more because of the spread and the defense that the Browns bring to the table. Now, the Raiders, their offense has been absolutely terrible. They aren't able to run with Genty. They have no protection, no pass, pass pro, no run protection or run blocking when they're trying to run with Genty. So there's zero identity on offense for the Raiders. The Browns have arguably the best player right now on defense. It's not really arguably, it's kind of confirmed. He's going for the MVP in Myles Garrett. I think he'll disrupt the Raiders, disrupt a lot of the passing attempts, get a lot of sacks on Geno Smith. Will he get 4 again? I don't know. He'll probably get 1, maybe 2. But it's going to be very difficult for this Raiders offense to get going, especially against a defense like the Browns. The Browns defense has been a little bit underrated just because of the offense of the Browns is not really helping. It's not complementary football for Cleveland right now because the offense is not helping the defense. Maybe that helps a little bit with Shedeur Sanders, a little bit more playmaking ability. I do not think this will be kind of a breakout game for Shedeur. This will be more of establishing and taking control of the operations for the Browns kind of game for Shedeur, especially if Dylan Gabriel's coming back for the Browns. Depends what the head coach wants in Cleveland, but this will probably be one where they say, okay, Shedeur, be a little bit more conservative, don't do anything reckless. That's what we're looking for in this game. If they can do that, if the Browns can just do that, limit turnovers, limit a lot of negative plays, they should be okay in this game, and they could probably win outright. So taking the Browns and this spread, I think, is kind of a no-brainer, at least to me, just because of the elite kind of D-line, elite player in Myles Garrett. It's going to disrupt this Raiders offense. And the Raiders, whenever they went against a great D-line or a great defense, the Colts had them held the Raiders to 6, and the Broncos held them to 7. So I think the Browns are able to, especially with that spread, cover the Raiders and what they're able to do on offense. All right, this last game. This one literally was just me throwing a dart on the board. So if I were to put real life money on this predictions or picks, I would not do it on this third pick, but I'm going to do it here anyway. Hopefully this goes my way, but the third pick is going to be Jaguars at the Cardinals, Cardinals plus 3. The reason for that being is the Cardinals and their identity in terms of what they're trying to be on offense, at least now with Jacoby Brissett, especially with Jacoby Brissett, has been pass-focused offense. And we saw that last game with him throwing, I think it was 450 yards or something crazy like that. And the Jags do not have a great pass rush. So combined that kind of identity on offense for the Cardinals with the Jaguars not having a great pass rush, and they allow a lot of pass yards as well. They're 7th most in the NFL in allowed pass yards per game. So that's not a great pass defense that the Jags have. So Arizona is going to look for those big explosive plays in this game. And I think that's going to, especially with that field goal kind of spread here, I do like this, choosing this game with this spread of a field goal kind of spread. It kind of forces the Jaguars to play a little bit with tempo, play a little bit with trying to get the lead first, because you do not want to lose the lead in this game against the Cardinals that can be pretty explosive on the offense and at least through the air. Now, the Jaguars do have an above average rush defense, or a rush offense, I should say, versus Arizona's average run defense. So that could play a little bit into the Jaguars' hands. They can control the clock, control time of possession, just get those first downs and convert where needed. So in terms of game plan on the Jaguar side, the way I see this going is control the time of possession, try to run the ball as much as you can against this average run defense for Arizona. If you are able to do that, it bodes well for the game. Versus for the Cardinals side and their game plan, it's more explosive plays and score points. If you can lead the game or come out outright in the first quarter and put up a lead, that bodes pretty well for how this game is going to go, especially with potential explosive plays on the offense for the Cardinals. So that kind of concludes my predictions or picks this week. The 3 games I have are the Colts plus 3.5 at the Chiefs, the Browns plus 3.5 at the Raiders, and the Jaguars at the Cardinals. I'm taking the Cardinals plus 3. Those are my picks this week. Hopefully I'm 3 for 3 again this week, and let's get this momentum going in terms of picks. I was 6 for 6 these last 2 weeks. Kind of make it 9 for 9. Let me know what you think of my picks. Any other picks that you like or predictions on how these games are going to go or individual kind of players and what they're able to do. Let me know, and I'll see you for the recap on week 12.